Hey guys, Tony here. Welcome back. I want to share some unique perspectives with you about this surprise announcement we got from AMC after hours on Friday, the preliminary results for Q1. We're going to cover some ground here that no one else is talking about. Let's get right into it. It is no surprise to most of you that Q1 box office was lower. You have been listening to the CEOs of the movie companies for the last 6 to 9 months, and we've been talking about, and so have they, that due to the actors and writers strike, Q1 and Q2 of this year were going to be impacted, and that this entire year, 2024, was going to be flat. So let's just get that out of the way. It's no surprise to anybody that Q1 is going to be a slow quarter. We know that the Q1 box office came in at 1.6 billion versus 2023 where it was 1.7 billion. What was a surprise though was AMC dropping preliminary results weeks ahead of the actual earnings. We know now from this press release on Friday that the earnings call and the earnings announcement is going to be Wednesday, May 8th after hours. What we were not expecting was this complete breakdown on expected revenues, earnings, and earnings per share, plus updates on the company's cash position. So let's dig into this, and I want to share some unique perspectives with you on why this might have been happening right now. There are surprises on top of surprises here. First of all, the surprise that we got the results preliminarily. Secondly, the surprise that the results AMC is announcing beat everybody's expectations. Here on stockanalysis.com, we can see that analysts were predicting revenue to come in at $861 million for AMC, earnings per share at negative 81 cents. While analysts were predicting that AMC's top line revenue was going to come in at $861 million, I did a video for you guys on April 1st with my thoughts. And my estimate was $882 million to $928 million. AMC is telling us now that they are expecting to report between $951 to $954 million, exceeding both analysts' expectations and even my highest expectation for the quarter. When it comes to net income, my spreadsheet takes in a lot of historical data to make reasonable predictions for net income. I was expecting that based on the box office we knew about, 1.6 billion, that AMC would report negative 190 million to negative 205 million for Q1. That would give us an earnings per share in line with what analysts were predicting. AMC, though, is saying it's going to be only negative 163 million, a huge beat on the net income numbers. Yes, it's still a negative, guys. It's going to be negative until the box office grows. But now we got to ask ourselves, what exactly happened here in Q1 that they were able to beat the numbers both on revenue and net income? And why did they release these results early? The final number that they told us about on Friday was the cash burn. And I had predicted that the cash burn was going to be negative $184 million, maybe up to $250 million, worst case. AMC is saying that they have a cash burn of $260 million. We knew from the Q4 results the company had $884 million on the balance sheet. They have $624 million as they end Q1. $260 million cash gone. Now, you might be asking yourself, just like I am, and I see a lot of you out there asking, how can you beat on revenues and have better than expected net income and burn $260 million? These are some of the things that we're going to talk about in this video. The other huge news, good news in my view, if you read through this entire press release, is another update, another breadcrumb on the status of the equity raise that AMC is doing for $250 million. Remember when they updated the proxy a few days ago? We got an update as of April 11th as to the status of how many shares that they have sold. Now we have an update as of April 25th. As of April 25th, AMC has sold approximately 12.8 million shares and has raised gross proceeds of $41 million. That is essentially the same number of shares that they told us that they had sold as of April 11th, meaning that there is no ongoing dilution. $41 million, 12.8 million shares is an average price of what? Around $3.25, $3.35. And the price got driven all the way down to $2.38. That was not AMC driving the price down. That was clearly shorts moving the price down. Now, I have heard all sorts of kooky explanations from the conspiracy theorists and the haters out there saying nobody wants to buy these shares, they can't sell them. Guys, that is just ridiculous. First of all, there is always a buyer for shares if the price is right. AMC clearly chose not to sell shares below 325, 335. They decided for whatever reason that we will find out in the future to be patient and not sell them at those low prices that the shorts were pushing the price down to. In AMC's press release, they gave us down at the bottom this table with reconciled EBITDA numbers, and I was able to pull some numbers from that and update my spreadsheet to try and figure out how we got to these beats on both the top line revenue and the net income. And so I have these plugged in here now, and the best that I can guess, we'll get the exact numbers from AMC on May 8th, but the best that I can guess is that possibly Dune 2 and the large number of people that were going to see IMAX movies in March bumped up the total revenue take that AMC got out of that $1.6 billion box office, whereas I had forecast here in yellow 32%. If we bump this number up to 33.5%, we get to a revenue number around the 951 to 954 million that AMC is telling us to expect. We don't even really need to jockey around with any of the other numbers on here. That gets us to around negative $163 million that they also told us to expect for net income. Why would the cash burn be so high in light of those numbers? Well, I don't know that exactly. Again, we're going to have to wait until May 8th, but best guess would be something to do with CapEx, or maybe more likely something they did with the debt, paying off some of the debt. Now, to close this out, why did AMC pre-announce these numbers? Well, recall just a couple days ago, we had another leak that the lenders that have been meeting to pitch a proposal to AMC to refinance the debt had indeed pitched a proposal to AMC. Somebody is leaking information. Could that have something to do with it? Very possibly. And I want to refer you guys to this tweet from Markets with May. I thought she did a very good write-up here. I'll put a link to her tweet in the video description if I'm able to do that, but it's at Markets with May, and she addresses this question head on. She says, why do companies pre-announce? Please note that companies may do this regardless of whether things are positive, negative, or neutral. The reasons in each case can be different. In this case, she feels it is a positive pre-announcement, so she's going to answer in light of that viewpoint. For positive pre-announcements, there can be a few reasons. The first reason, though, is common to positive, negative, or neutral pre-announcements, and that is that somebody is being a loudmouth, or that someone would definitively trade on the information such that you might have a problem with the SEC. So the company wants to get in front of that and make sure that we all have access to the same information. She goes on to say in this first paragraph what I was just alluding to with the debt holders meeting together. It's possible something was said such that AMC's legal team thought that it was best to more broadly disclose all of the information to the public so that everybody had access to the same information and that nobody could get an advantage. She goes on to say that the second reason that a company might do a preliminary news announcement is that it removes uncertainty from the stock due to an event like earnings. You do so to stop the day traders who are shorting or gaming the stock, and also to discourage them from gaming the stock in front of earnings in the future. She finishes up by saying there is still some uncertainty in the pre-earnings news. And we just talked about that actually a couple of minutes ago as I'm reading this. She says you still have relevant uncertainty related to how much CapEx did AMC do on the quarter, and what did AMC specifically do with the debt? Remember, we threw this screen up just a second ago and talked about those two very things. I think that this is an excellent write-up. Thank you, May, for your thoughts and your insights. Guys, I hope you found that information helpful to maybe explain why AMC put out this level of information weeks ahead of the earnings call. So we will find out more details on May 8th, and I will be covering that earnings call live here on the channel after hours. Please join me for that live stream so we can watch the results come in together, listen to what management has to say, and listen as well to the questions the analysts have for the CEO and the CFO. Although I am generally bullish on AMC, considering how low the price is, I do expect box office to increase throughout the remainder of this year. We still have the overhang of some dilution, so that's something we need to keep in mind. And remember that for myself, I have in 2024 AMC still rated as a speculative play because we don't expect the box office to be at the point where AMC can generate an annual profit. Make sure you're always getting your information from the company directly. Read company filings. Make sure you read those 8Ks, 10Qs, 10Ks. Understand the financial statements and are reading the risk factors in the company quarterly filings. I am Tony Denaro. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.